Good to see all of you. Rubbing the dust out of your eyes. So am I. It's 9 o'clock. It's Tuesday. And we're going to try something a little bit different to kind of get the energy up in here. So what I'm going to do is I want you to take a moment. I want you to think of something that you're grateful for. Think of something you're grateful for. It can be as simple as I'm grateful I have a bed to sleep in. It's a good thing to be grateful for. Not everybody has a bed to sleep in. It could be something as large as I'm grateful for my family or my health. You know, whatever you want to what you want to do. I'm going to put you guys into breakout rooms of 2 to 3, and you can tell the person you're in the room with, or people you're in the room with, what's something that you're grateful for. And we're going to take 3 minutes, and then we'll come back and discuss. Sound good? Off you go. Welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah, Jesus, you have a question?
Did you do something with the settings? Just because like I see like your words are all the words being transcribed.
Yes, I did. Actually, Europe offers this for anybody who wants it, like instructors, if they wanted to, Europe, not Europe, yeah, if they want to use closed captions. So we'll try it for a few minutes, and if it's annoying, I'll just take it off. But if it's helpful, we'll keep it on. So, Jesus, you're a very observant colleague. Notice that we have closed captions in our class now. So this is a new feature that we're rolling out. Um, I need to stop talking so fast so it knows what I'm saying. Um, but we'll give it a try. And if it's annoying, we can get rid of it. If you like it, we can keep it. Yes, Tyrell.
Good morning, Eric and everybody. I'm sorry. My question is the presentation that I was a part of for
Mhm.
the help desk IT thing,
Mm-hmm.
was that was that not put up on any of your YouTube? Because I was actually on your YouTube channel yesterday because I needed to use a video for a reference in another class. And I didn't. I was looking for it.
Yeah, what day was that? Do you recall?
I do not recall. I remember it being actually I can look it up and tell you later today before class ends.
It should have been recorded. I mean, unless I, for some reason, stopped recording, which I don't have any reason to do that, it should be on there. Yep.
No problem.
We could
If
always
any,
act. We could always act it out again if you want, Tyrell.
I'm not feeling it today. I think I would love to see other people and help them out.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for that. Let's go ahead and do this. We start off our morning by sharing with a partner or partners what we are grateful for. Can someone either raise their hand or in the chat box put in why you think that's a good way to start the day, or why you think we start off our day that way? Yeah, Alan.
Morning, everybody. This is Alan. I think it it makes you think of something positive, fresh off the wake up. A lot of times when you roll out of bed this early in the morning, you're kind of just groggy, you don't really want to be here. But then it's kind of like a gut check to help you remember why exactly you're here.
So good, Alan. Absolutely. I think it's very natural for us to wake up like I'm tired. I'd rather just stay in bed. Don't want to be on Zoom for the next, 6 hours. But having that gut check for sure is helpful. Amir?
Yeah, similarly to Alan, me personally, right? I could speak for maybe some of us at least. I'm tired, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be like that's speaking honestly, right?
Yep.
And usually when I'm like this, I get like a little antsy stuff like that. So just going in there, seeing some smiling faces, and hearing some people talk about something significant or something as little as water is like, starts my day off right.
Absolutely. It definitely gives you some perspective. And we have some Kayla says, remembering what to be grateful for, starting with gratitude. It's a good way to self reflect every morning. Yeah, all of the above. I mean, listen, what Amir said. He's spot on. Like, we're all human. We need to be transparent. We all have bad days. We all have mornings where we think, "Gosh, I'd rather just be doing something else today." But even just the fact that we woke up this morning and we had somewhere to go, right? Even if it was just to go to our computer in our bedroom, but we had somewhere to be. There's a lot of people that you and I know who literally wish they had something to do this morning. They wish they had a job to go to. They wish they had a train to go to. They wish they had a path forward to walk on. And they don't. And there's a variety of reasons for that. And maybe you've been there in your life. I've been there in my life as well, where I felt directionless. And that's not a very fun place to be. And here's the thing that I want to encourage us with as we start off the day is that discomfort is good, right? Being a little bit uncomfortable and being stretched outside of what you're used to is good for us. If life was just eating chocolates and drinking tea all day, that'd be fun for maybe 48 hours. And then we'd be like, kind of bored. And, chocolate gets boring after a while. And tea, as exciting as it could be, I want more than just that. So just want you all to know I'm very proud of all of you starting this journey. I know that it's a stretch. I know that's a lot of deliverables. I know it's a lot of classes. I know it's a lot to keep up with amidst everything else going on in your world. But remember to keep perspective, even to have fresh water to come out of a faucet that you can drink is really a blessing. I mean, really and truly, there are people all over the world who wish they had that. I heard a quote one time. It's sort of cheesy, but I think it's helpful. It says, "The things that we complain about, somebody else is praying for." It's pretty remarkable, right? To think about that. So, anyways, I'll get off my soapbox. We'll start off with today's lesson, and thank you for taking some time to do the exercise with me. Today's assistant instructor is Justin. Justin, are you here?
Yes, sir.
How are you, Justin?
I'm good. You?
I'm doing better than I deserve. Thank you for asking. I'm going to go ahead and spotlight both of us together for this amazing interview that I'm looking forward to. Justin, tell us about yourself.
My name is Justin. I'm 19. I like mechanic work as long as technical work. That's why I signed up for help desk.
Mhm.
I'm really encouraged and motivated right now to move on in my life. That's really it right now.
Awesome. What's something interesting about you, Justin?
An interesting fact about me is one of my fears is roller coasters and sky jumping, because I feel like I'm never gonna come back down and land on my feet. So it's kind of weird to me. I don't like it.
So you're afraid of roller coasters? And what was the second thing you said?
Sky jumping.
Okay, like skydiving, the same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird to me. Like,
Not your thing. Gotcha.
Mm.
Very cool. And what's the question that you want to ask to our group?
Okay. If you had one skill to survive a 1 week vacation, what would it be?
Can you ask that again? Sorry. What is it?
If you had one skill to survive a 1 week vacation, what would it be?
Okay. So how would you answer that question, Justin?
Like, vacation is on an island.
Mhm.
So my skill would be farming, like chopping sticks, making fires, just to survive and eat, at least. That's what I would do. Farming, hunting. That's my skill.
Gotcha. So you're saying we're all on an island for a week. We have to all bring a skill with us, and you're saying you would be the farmer and the hunter of the island.
So
All right. So we got some supporters that also want to do that: hunting, fishing, crafting, foraging, building a Fisher and Claire comedic relief. We definitely would need that as we're stranded, for sure. Cooking, excellent. Yeah, looks like we got a pretty good group of people. We're gonna be eating well. Yes, Oscar, we have to have someone sleep. Izzy will talk to the animals, for sure. Be strong and don't be afraid. Todd Gruhl will be the motivational speaker. So it's interesting. You ever read the book, Justin, the Lord of the Flies? Is that the one I'm thinking of, where all the boys get stuck on the island? You ever read that one?
Never heard that before.
Okay, it's an interesting book. I would encourage you to check it out. It's a great book. But it's all about these teenage boys, I guess, that get stuck on an island together and have to survive, and all their personalities that emerge. I remember reading it a few
Do they
years.
survive? Do they actually survive?
So, well, you got to read the book and find out.
Gotcha.
Well, thank you so much, Justin, for being today's assistant instructor. We appreciate it. We appreciate you. Megan will be the sunbather. This is such a interesting gifts that we all bring. Gosh, I don't know what I would bring. I probably would also be into hunting and fishing. That would be my thing as well. Gathering the food, building the fires. Sounds good. A week is not that long. A week we could totally survive on an island. Once you get into like the month, 2 months, 3 months, things change. But a week, we'd all be good. All right. Give me a second, guys. Just gotta record attendance quick. All right. Thank you. Okay. Let's go ahead and jump into today's lesson. If you want to go off camera for this, you're more than welcome to save your eyes, and we'll go ahead and get started. So we already did today's instructor. Today, we're going to move on to the topic of business documents. So this is kind of our second piece of Microsoft Word. Yesterday was flyers, and today is business docs. And can someone just raise their hand and give an example, or in the chat box, whatever you're more comfortable with? What's an example of a business document that you might use at work? Either raise your virtual hand or put in the chat. Kayla?
I'm sorry, can you just repeat the question just to make sure I heard it correctly?
Of course. What's an example of a business document you might use?
Like a Word, maybe like an informational document.
Mm-hmm. Yep, an informational document for sure, like a packet. Yep, that's good. And Year Up, we use a lot of, we call them one pagers, which is explaining what's going on in one page. So excellent. Sikander?
A memo or a contract.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, like a legal document that has everything written out, for sure. Thank you. Maria?
I would say like a report check or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yep.
something that you can just write, like some feedback or something.
Mm-hmm. Definitely we need that for sure. Thank you so much. Davian?
I'm gonna go with an invoice.
Mm-hmm. Yep, excellent. An invoice. When you got to bill somebody, you send them an invoice for sure. That's good that everyone gets paid who needs to get paid. Matthew?
Employee handbooks. So like something similar to what we got for Europe when we entered the student handbook.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's true. Every time you get a new job, you always have to read the policy handbook and learn all about the details of what it means to work there. Very important. Thank you, sir. Jason?
For HR, business meetings or HR related product.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. Definitely have to have that handy as well, for sure. And I see a memo, an invoice, project scope. Wow, Brandon, I'm impressed. You know what that is. You'll be like head of the curve for project management class. System ticket, invoice insurance, policy, employment agreement. Yeah, all these are spot on. Here's some that I wrote down as well. But really, like a business document is any, documentation outlining work. It can be all sorts of different things, but it's important that it's done correctly. And that's going to be the sum of today's lesson. So if you don't mind, Kayla and Sikander, unless you guys have another comment, you can lower your hand. My next question is, what do these 5 items like have in common? Like if you were thinking of their commonality, other than obviously they're all business documents. Well, yeah, we know that. But beyond that, what do they all have in common? If you were composing these, what might you do consistently across the board with all 5 of these? Or that's a better way to ask the question. Izzy?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to answer this question as much better, but to the best of my ability. I want to say that all 5 of these have similar transitions. So they all have to do with agreeing with something for exchange in a way. I really don't know how to word it out correctly, but that's the best way I can really explain it. It's like a exchange of agreement.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. I mean, it's documentation that people are going to look at and are going to like agree to or follow through with. Excellent observation, Izzy. Thank you so much. So let me ask a question. You can give me a green check or a red X for this. If you were creating any of these documents, do you think that you would like do it on your phone in 5 minutes and then just send it out and not even double check it? Red X. Of course not. Of course not, because these are important documents. It's not like you're texting your friend, what do you want for lunch? It's something that people are going to look at. They're probably going to sign. They're going to agree to. So making sure that it's really carefully crafted is important to your success. And I find, in my experience working, that small things like typos, grammatical errors, all the good things that you learn about in your business communications classes with Kara or Vanessa are really helpful in your professional work. I just find it's very easy to lose credibility if you don't know how to do this well. So that's why it's so important to make sure your business writing is as on point as possible. So really quickly, 5 steps to make sure that this is the best it can be. The very first thing is identifying your audience. Okay. So we want to know who am I writing this business document to? Am I writing it to the CEO of the company? Am I writing it to a colleague? Am I writing it to the interns? Am I writing out a mass email to hundreds of people? Like, who's going to be on the receiving end of this? So making sure that you have an adequate knowledge of what people want to know who's reading this is really helpful in crafting a business document, is knowing who am I writing to and what would they, and how can I convey the information as best as possible. So for example, if you're writing an email to 200 people that are all working in your office, it's going to be very different than writing a 1-page document that your director is going to see. So knowing who am I writing to is the first step. The second step, identifying the document's purpose and keeping it focused. Here's the thing is I love writing. I love creative writing. I love reading. But business documents is not your time to show those skills. All right. Business documents, by and large, it's like, this is what it is, black and white. Let's go ahead and make it happen. So for example, right now, my wife and I, we're actually selling our condo and we're moving into a bigger place, which I'm very excited about. As I think I've said this in this class before, it's a family of 4 in a 1-bedroom apartment, and it's getting very cozy. So we're gonna look for a 2 or 3 bedroom, hopefully a 3 if we can swing it. But even a 2 would be better. But anyways, like, our lawyer sent us a business document outlining our contract. In that contract, our lawyer did not talk about what he ate for breakfast or his favorite TV show right now or where he's going on vacation. Well, why not? Because that's not the point of it. The point is, what do we need to know about selling our place? That's all we need to know. We don't need to know anything beyond that. So you have to identify what's the purpose and keep it focused. And thank you all for the congratulations. I haven't moved yet, but I'll keep you posted when I do. Organize your writing. Does it have a very clear, concise way of giving out the information? One of the best ways to do that is consider the reader's perspective. Does it answer the questions that they need to know? What is this document about? Why do I want to read it? What should I do after I read it? That's the thing, is like, there should be some sort of action on this. Like, okay, I need to read this and I need to sign it. I need to read this and I need to present it to somebody else. Your reading flow should be clear, interesting, and informative. So let's make sure that everything is as organized as these towels, which, by the way, if your towels are this organized, I am really impressed with you as a human being, because my towels don't look anything like this in my apartment. All right, moving on. And then reread your document before sending. This is the most important step. You should look at your document twice, maybe even 3 times before you press send. It's also helpful to find a trusted advisor or friend to say, hey, listen, I will make sure that this is as best as it can be. Can you please make sure that it's everything makes sense? Because what happens is we have a tendency to write something and work on it, and then we just assume that it's the best it can be. But having a second voice to come in and say, look, have you considered this angle, is really helpful. So making sure that you review it, a good best practice, and you can write this down if it's helpful, is to read it aloud and make sure it all makes sense. So I find that the more time you spend with a business document, the easier it is to get sucked into, thinking it's the best it could be, and then not considering how it could be updated. All right. Last bit, making sure the document is professional. This is really important. You could have the best words in the document, but if it's not a font that's clearly able to be read, if there's not letterhead, for example, like the Europe letterhead, if it's not addressed to the right person, there's just so many small things that you can do that get easily overlooked that are just not great. All right. It happens to me all the time. People will write me an official email and they'll say, "Dear Eric, ERIK." And immediately I don't like them. I don't want to read their email because I'm like, you don't even know how to spell my name. Like, why would I read your email? Right. So I know it sounds really pretentious and it probably is, but just taking that time to really making sure every detail is nailed down is critical. Daniel.
Hey, Eric, could you go back to 3 and 4 so I can write them down, please?
Sure. Yep. 3, organize your writing.
All right.
Making sure everything's concise and then rereading it. And like I shared, making sure you read it aloud is also a good best practice to get into. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And also, for anybody, if I ever go too fast, feel free to ask me to go backwards. But then also, the lecture will be on YouTube later as well, if that's helpful for anybody to know. So let's put this into practice. We're gonna have a lot of fun with this. You're gonna laugh way too hard for school, but we're gonna have a good time. So here we go. Imagine there's a position open to the assistant to director of your team, and you want to express your interest. So you got a new job, you're working, things are going really well, and the director of your team needs an assistant, and you think, you know what? I'd be really good at this job. I'm going to put my name in. We're going to see how it goes. And this was the letter you sent. Dear Vice President of Division, good morning. How are you? Hope you're well. Thanks for taking the time to read this. Can you believe it's fall already? Anywho, this is why I'm writing. I deserve a promotion and would like to be considered as your new assistant. I'm a work harder, get the job done, and I faithfully served this organization for 6 solid months and only called out 8 times. I have referenced my mom, old boss from a job I had in high school, and my cousin Mose. But please tell me when I can start the job. Sincerely, Eric Hope, your new assistant, LOL. P.S. Follow me on Insta. All right. Can someone raise their hand and tell me one thing? There's probably about 20 wrong with this letter. All right, Matthew.
Well, for one, if I was the manager, this employee's instantly fired. He's not in the company anymore. Second, there's a lot of grammatical errors in here. The way he started his email off, like it's not appropriate. It's not business professional. You just don't say something like that. Then referring to adding that person on Instagram, that is also not business professional. So, like I said, this employee would have been fired.
Matthew, you're a ruthless manager. A person sends you one bad letter and you're going to fire them. Is that, I'm understanding that correctly, Matthew?
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. All right. How about we hear from Megan? Megan, what would you say if you got this letter?
I got this letter. I would just think that this person was crazy, especially the part where he said like I deserve, and then he had the nerve to like put it in all caps and bold the deserve part. Like that's a little weird. He said I deserve a promotion and like to be considered as your new assistant. It just seems pushy.
Yeah, a little bit pushy for sure. I can definitely see that. Yeah, definitely not very humble, not very like I'm very interested. Here's my credentials. Just I deserve this job. Period. Not great. Diane.
Yeah, there's a lot of things wrong with this, but for one that stood out to me was the end, how he just
automatically said your new assistant, then he wrote LOL.
Yeah. I mean, there's confidence and then there's overconfidence, right? So I think this person has some overconfidence. Also, thank you, Diane, for coming on camera when you shared out. That's very helpful for me. Let's hear from Joshua.
Yeah, I was saying that as it came off like playful, but also very aggressive when he bold and like uppercase all the letters in deserve. It screamed out, I guess, at the reader. So yeah, I guess the person reading it, like excluding everything else, just that point alone was very aggressive. Some people might see it as like a good quality, but if you're talking to like, I guess, a hiring manager or the president of your division, you don't want to come off like that.
Yeah, certainly not the best way to brand yourself, is it? Thank you so much for the comment, Miguel.
Yeah, a part that like popped out that was really like, it to me, it would have just been like, okay, this, I didn't even need this part, is like where he goes, I have referenced my mom and then old boss from a job I had in high school and cousin Mose. Love the Office reference, by the way.
Thank you.
But then like I've like, that was just, it's a whole lot of unnecessary information because clearly these are bad references. And especially the extra, to me, the extra unnecessary information was the 6 months and only called out 8 times. Like, you definitely shouldn't have mentioned that.
Yeah, definitely not. That's not a good look that you called out more than once a month. Yeah, for sure. Let's hear from Audrey.
I feel like when he said, please tell me when can I start, I feel like that was just something that was really inconsiderate, because I feel like it would be better if he would say like a question or something like that, like if it's possible, if you can tell me or something like that, like being more I don't know how to say it, but like being more considerate. I think that's the word.
Yeah,
And not
yeah.
being so demanding about it.
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants to hire somebody who's making demands of them. Not really a good place to be. Franklin?
Something interesting about this document is that it was supposed to be a petition and to be taken into consideration, but in this document, the writer took a decision for the person, for the subject, like the person that's reading that's supposed to take the decision, not the writer. But the writer just hired himself, basically. And that's not right. We have to take in consideration the person, how the person feels. Maybe the person has somebody else in mind, and you come and hire yourself, basically. So that's not good.
Not at all, frankly. And remember, the very first point of business writing and writing documents is consider the person reading it, right? Like, what do they want to see? Do they want to see? They want to see your skills. They want to see your experience. They don't want to see that you called out 8 times, right? It's not a good way to start off. Yeah, or that you deserve the job, for sure. Jason, what would you add?
If you've been there for like 6 months, you would know who the message should be sent to.
Yes.
For me, it kind of shows that they didn't do any research into showing like who is this document going to go to, instead it just says vice president division rather than the name of it.
Yep. I'm glad you caught that, Jason. It should be the person's name. And one thing that maybe I didn't make clear, but look at this previous one, the assistant to the director of your team. So not only did they not put the person's name, they put the wrong title. So yeah, did not really think this one through. Megan, do you have another comment, or is that your hand from earlier?
That was my hand from earlier.
Okay, no, you're good. Franklin, do you have another comment?
Oh no, I'm sorry. That's just my hand. Yeah.
No problem. All right, so a lot of things wrong with this, and then I think we covered all of them. One thing I don't think anybody mentioned, but probably not time to talk about the weather. The manager doesn't care. He or she does not care. They want to know, why you're the right person for the job. So that's what not to do. Let's see what to do. Dear Mr. Ricardo Perry, I hope this message finds you well. I'm writing to express my interest in the executive assistant role posted on Workday. Though I have only been in my current role for 6 months, I bring with me an expertise in Office, QuickBooks, and Salesforce. I possess strong attention to detail and am highly personable and committed to this organization. My manager, Joelle Black, is aware of my interests and is happy to be a reference for me. Other references are her supervisor, Sarah Thompson, and my colleague, Juan Sandoval. I look forward to our correspondence to discuss any way that I can add value to this organization. Sincerely, Eric Hoke, email, phone number. So, a little bit better. What do you guys think? Tyrell, what do you think of this letter?
Tremendous effort put into the writing and the grammatical checks as opposed to the first step. It's very clear who you're speaking to, what you're applying for, and what you want to achieve. Like your closing is not aggressive in any way. You're not saying, oh, I'm looking forward to discussing me being promoted or potentially getting hired. It's just, I would like to add value and I would like to discuss whether I get hired or not. Just tell me what I can do to be better for the company.
Exactly. It's putting the interest of the organization first. Precisely. Good catch, Tyrell. Excellent. Jason, I saw your hand next.
Something that stood out to me was they actually dropped names in this one. Like, that when you see names, people like your manager, for example, you have a bond with them rather than just, I worked for this person, so this is why you should take me. You're recommending it to the right person. You're talking about your supervisor who will support you if you're going to throw their name around like that. So to me, that's something that stood out as well.
Absolutely, Jason. I love that. And look who this person picked. They picked their manager and then they picked her manager and a colleague. It wasn't mom. It wasn't a job that they had in high school, and it wasn't cousin Mo's. It was people who know their work and know how to get things done. Excellent. Great observation. Thank you so much. Let's go to Maria.
For me, what stood out was your information. You left your email. It's a professional email, and you left your phone number. That way, if they want to come in contact with you again, they are able to. They have two options to do so. And also, going back to what one of my colleagues already mentioned, the person who wrote it mentioned the organization. Like they put the organization as a priority, because sometimes when people trying to hire you, they want to hear more about what you can add to the workplace that you're trying to apply to than about yourself, honestly, because they want to know the kind of person they want to bring into, if they really care about the company or they just want to get a job, like any job. So I guess that was like really important as well.
Yes, that makes perfect sense. Absolutely. And one other detail that I wanted to also bring up is that even though this person only had 6 months of experience, which someone mentioned, I think in the chat box previously, which is not very much to be looking for a promotion already, this person highlighted the expertise and the skills they brought with them. Microsoft Office, QuickBooks, and Salesforce, all skills necessary to be an executive assistant. So yeah, this is an example of a solid business document. There's no fluff. Everything's formatted properly. You're not talking about the weather. You're not saying follow me on Instagram. None of those things are appropriate. You're being very clear. This is a letter to Mr. Perry. This is what I want. This is what I have, and these are some next steps. And there it is. It's literally what? Basically, it's 2 paragraphs. That's a pretty quick email, because the director of your organization, guess what? He or she is very busy, and getting on their radar is tough. So it's not time to show off your creative writing abilities. It's time to, just get to the point. Yeah, Amir.
Is there a reason this isn't, like, instead of being a business document, why isn't it just emailed?
Yeah, this could be an email for sure. Yeah, this could totally be done in an email. I just wanted to show it in this format so that you could see like what it would look like if it was formatted properly. But yeah, you could totally email Mr. Perry this same exact thing.
Okay.
Yep, good question. Any other questions on this theme before we take a short break and do our breakout for today? Yeah, Izzy.
Would this be considered more of a cover letter as well, or no?
Sure, that's a really good question, Izzy. You could consider that a cover letter, absolutely, because it highlights your skills without going into great detail. And you'll spend time during BC class talking cover letters and resumes. But yes, that's a really good point. That could be a good cover letter. But I would actually even look at that as like even before the cover letter. That could just be the I'm interested in talking more about it. And then after you have that conversation with Ricardo, then you would say, okay, I want to apply for this job. Then the more formal cover letter and resume would come. Though, because to be frank, if you already talked to him or her, you probably could just send the resume. They don't need to see a cover letter. They've already met you. They already know you. So yeah, excellent question. Thank you. Tyrell.
You mentioned earlier that 6 months is obviously too early to ask for promotion. At what point in terms of your time at a company do you seek what you feel will be the right time for a promotion?
Wow, Tyrell, I love you. You ask the best questions. So let's think about this. Some companies have a policy, and that policy standard is a year. Like you have to be in your role for 1 year, and then you can get promoted to another role, and not even promoted. Like then you can move to another role, because some people like they have a position and they just say like this is not the right position for me, and they just want to move laterally across the organization to a different function, a different team. It happens all the time professionally, but 1 year is sort of gold standard. So that's the first benchmark. Not every company has that policy. A lot do. The second thing is that you'd really have to show how you're excelling in your current role. Okay. So if you're at one level and you're on probation, or you've gotten ran up, or you're not in good graces with your manager, I mean the odds of getting promoted, this is common sense, I'm sure, but it's very, very low. So making sure that you really excel in your current function. And one thing that I would encourage all of you to do, and it's not something you may ever thought about before, but you should have an Excel document outlining these are the accolades that I've achieved in my time here. Okay, so when suppose I'm going to you, Tyrell, and I'm saying you're my manager, and I say I think I want to get promoted. I say, okay, Eric, that sounds great. Like, what have you done in this past year to show that you're ready for the next step? And I'd be like, here you go. Here's all the things I've done, 50, 60, 70 things that I've done above and beyond to show that I'm really committed to my role. And the third thing I'd also propose is like talking to, suppose your role is to become a manager, like a people manager at your company, which is a pretty natural progression for a lot of people, is asking for ways in which you can hone those skills. Like maybe you're not managing people in the formal setting, but maybe you're leading a team, or you're leading a project, and you're showing that you have the ability to do that. So the thing of it is, when you get hired for a job, particularly like a well-paying corporate job, they're not just looking at you and saying, okay, can you run help desk for us? They're looking at you and saying, can you grow with this company? And are you going to stay here? Are you going to become a people manager? Are you going to become a director? Are you going to become a VP? Like, is this a person that we can really invest in and get behind? And yeah, and Claire, that's an interesting comment. They said like 1 year sounds like a bit, like a long time. But I mean, my last job that I was at before I came to Europe, I worked there for 4 years, and I worked there for about 2.5 until I got promoted. And that was because the learning curve is so steep, and it takes about that long to really master your current role. And you're not going to go to your next role until you're a master of your current role, because who am I to tell somebody else how to do a job that I've never mastered? So yeah, really great question, Tyrell. Thanks for asking. Any other questions around that? Going once, going twice. All right. Yeah, it's a huge change from retail where you're there for 2 months and you're a supervisor. Yeah, they really want to make sure that you have a mastery over the role. I mean, I'll share with you guys one quick story. Then I'll give you a break. It'll be less than 30 seconds, I promise. But my first job out of high school, when I graduated high school, I told my parents I'm not going to go to college because it's a waste of time. It's a waste of money. I'm not doing it. So my parents said, okay, that's fine. Go work at the factory where dad works and see how you like that. So I went to the factory. I asked for a job. I got a job there. I stood on a conveyor belt where these large packages would come by, and I would have to take a wand and scan them. It would print out a ticket, a little sticker. I'd put it on the package, send it back to the conveyor belt. They trained me in that job in about 45 minutes, and I did that for 6 months. And I decided, you know what? I don't want to do this for the next 40 years. And I decided to continue my education. And don't get me wrong, people who do that, that's an honest way to live. That's not the path I wanted to live. But I probably would be promoted in that role pretty quickly because the skills was relatively low skill. It was basically scan a barcode and put a sticker on. I mean, a robot could have done it. And maybe a robot does right now because that was 20 years ago. So anyways, but yeah, I would say 1 year is pretty standard for your first job to be promoted. And as you climb up the corporate ladder, that time expands because the scope of work in which you do will expand as well. All right, 5-minute break. See you guys back at 9:51. Thanks so much. All right, folks, it's 9:51. So let's go ahead and get back on camera. Excellent. Thank you. Great to see you all. Are there any concluding questions on business documents before we move on to the next thing? Are we pretty clear on how to do it? All right. So we're going to do this. It's 9:52. I was going to have you spend like 15 minutes working on something, but instead I'm just going to have you do it, in your own time. It's not deliverable. It's optional. If you want to do it, you can. If you don't feel like it, you don't have to. But I wanted you to, using the format we discussed, to write a thank you letter to someone who has helped you in life's journey so far, a former teacher, a parent, a grandparent, an older sibling, a guidance counselor, a mentor, or a friend. So you can do that if you want to. You don't have to. It's just an option. But I would encourage you to do that because that will give you practice. And the more you practice something, the more you grow in skills and the better you'll be. So it's also good to, just to let people know who helped you along the journey, how they helped you. It really goes a long way. And remember how we talked about gratitude this morning and how gratitude is a good trait to have to live the life that you want to live. And I find one way you can help, be grateful is think of people who've helped you along the way and write them a little letter. And Tyrell's, I don't have an older sibling either. So you can write to a younger sibling. I mean, younger siblings can help us along the way as well. So that's, you don't have to submit it. No, this is completely optional. If you want to do it, practice your writing, get it really honed in, really tight. You can do that. But if you don't feel like it because you'd rather go, look at TikTok, that's fine too. But I would encourage you to spend 10 minutes, 15 minutes doing this because number one, it will give you a posture of gratitude. Number two, it'll mean a lot to the person who receives it. And number three, it'll help you hone your your skills in writing. So that's it. You didn't have to call me out like that about TikTok. I mean, hey, listen, I'll tell you this. I have Facebook, don't really use that. Twitter, I use that quite a bit. And then Instagram, which I use the most. And everyone's like, get on TikTok, get on TikTok. I'm like, listen, I'm done with social media. Oh, and Reddit, of course. Reddit is my favorite. But I just don't fool with TikToks. I just know myself, and I know that I would get so sucked into it, and I know that it wouldn't be good for me. I mean, if you're on it, great, good on you. But not gonna open that can of worms because I just know myself. I know what I'm capable of. So with that being said, here's the deliverables. Justin, are you still with us?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Would you be so kind to read the deliverables that are due this week?
Imagine you're creating a ERG, employee resource group within your organization about a cause that you believe in. Create a flyer promoting the event that you could post in a breakout room. It should have large font, catch the eye, and include photography.
You got it.
Due tonight at 11 p.m. Watch Steve Jobs' keynote introducing iPhone in 250 words. What stood out to you in the presentation? Submit onto a discussion board by Tuesday at 11:59 p.m. Respond to at least 200 words each by Thursday at 11:59 p.m.
Great. Thank you, Justin. Any questions on deliverables? Yeah, Jason.
We have something for break time slides due tomorrow, I think.
Oh, you're right. Yep.
What is that about?
Yes, I'm glad you asked that because actually that's my next note. So tomorrow we have a slide that is due. It's a very simple deliverable. I'm going to talk about PowerPoint tomorrow. I know there's some people who like to get ahead and like start working early. This YouTube link I just put in, if you start at the 26-minute mark, that is me explaining how to do PowerPoint. If you're like, I'm totally clueless on how to do PowerPoint, but let me just really quickly pull up someone's example. I know people like to get ahead of the curve, and I understand that, and I respect that. So there were some people who submitted it already and did it perfectly fine. So let's take a look here. Joshua Harrison, I don't want to embarrass you, but I'm going to because he did it perfectly and he's going to get 100%. This is an example of what I'm looking for. A simple slide that says it's lunchtime, you know, how long lunch is. Basically, just I want to see that you know how to make a slide in PowerPoint. That's it. It has a picture, food. Those pancakes look delicious. I love pancakes. What is it? It's lunchtime, and this is how long it is. And that's it. You can either do it on PowerPoint or you can do it on Canva. But I just want to make sure that you have the ability to create a slide like this that I can see. And I'll explain in more detail what that is tomorrow. But for those of you who want to get a jump on it now, you can watch it. But basically, can you create a slide that says it's time to eat and have a picture of food? That's all I want to see. Because I know, like I said, we spend a lot of time on Outlook. We'll spend a lot of time in Excel. We breeze through Word and PowerPoint pretty quickly because most people are proficient in those apps. And there's no reason to spend a lot of time on things people are already comfortable in. Sabrina?
Are we allowed to do it in Google Slides?
Yeah, that's fine. Yep. So just to give you like a scenario, this is what you can imagine for those who want to get a jump. Imagine you're working for a person and she is going to go fly across the country and give a presentation, and she lands and she realizes, oh shoot, I don't have a slide for like the lunch break. She really quickly texts you, says, hey, can you please send me a slide for the lunch break? 45 minutes long. You say, yep, no problem. You make the slide and you email it to her. All right, that's what you're doing. You're making one slide, lunchtime, 45 minutes. Is that helpful? Yeah, thanks for flagging that, Jason. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Any additional questions? Well, in a posture of gratitude, you can be grateful that we're ending class 15 minutes early. You can make sure you stand up, stretch your legs, get some sun. Vitamin D is really, really good for all of us. And have a great rest of the day and see you tomorrow.
Take care.
Have a great day, Eric.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have
I
a
have a
good
quick
day.
question.
Great day.
I'm about to leave.
Yeah, who said that? Who has a question?
It was Anton.
Yeah, Anton, what's your question?
The email etiquette email, you commented saying that you wasn't able to open it and I have to resend it or something like that.
Yep.
Okay, so how do you want me to send it? Because I did it on Microsoft, I did it on Word, so.
Yeah, it's a Microsoft Word document.
Yeah.
Give me a second. I'm gonna take a look and see what it looks like. Let me just pull up Schoology really quick.
And the link you sent us in the email where it says the 26 mark, that's for the break the slide that we need to make.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Let me go ahead and see your email signature. Let me find yours. The email signature, I have yours, Anton. You got a perfect score. Is that
Not the email signature, the email about the computer.
Oh, gotcha.
But we had to respond back to Joan.
Yep, I know what you mean. So let me just share with you my screen. So like when I pull up yours, like this is what I see. Like I can't open anything. Like most people, like I click over and like this was a doc and they sent it, like and I could see it, right? But yours, I don't see anything. So email me the Word document and then I can go ahead and update your grade. All right. Thanks.
I have a question for the URG flyer. So I already submitted mine, but I don't know if the font is large enough to get full mark.
Yeah, let me take a look. Yeah, this is perfect. Yeah, it looks really good.
Oh, so that means I get full credit for it?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you have a question? Yeah, Renee.
Yeah. I have similar question, just like Michael. Yeah, Michael.
You mean pull up yours and take a look?
I haven't uploaded yet, but can I share it here?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah, all right. So I don't know if this looks good or. All right, so. So does it look good or?
Yeah, this looks really good. I think the only thing I would add is like where you're going to be. You know what I mean? Like, is it going to be like a YouTube link or like where like? That's the only thing I would add. But beyond that, yeah, it looks great.
All right, I'll do it. So like a place, like a link, something like that.
Yeah, or just like an Instagram handle, even just one you made up. It could just be like Good Vibes DJing or something like that.
All right, got it.
Got it. All right.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care.
So how do I?
Do you have any other questions, or is that all you had?
That's all what I have right now.
All right, great.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Have a wonderful day.
You too.